Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Republican Party Network Focus Group. And our focus group this evening is on the border security. And we have a number of folks here that are going to kind of give us their insight, their opinions, their ideas regarding the border. And the purpose of the focus groups are kind of three purposes. One, to really take a deep dive and zero in on the issues at hand, to kind of move beyond the headlines and really bring out what people who are thinking about it and their ideas for solutions. The second reason for the focus group is to begin to start shaping issues in a way that the Republican Party can really market. Like anything else, we've got to get our narrative, our story out there for independents, moderate Democrats, and let's face it, a lot of Republicans who simply just are not aware of the issues. So the way you do that is you just don't bring out a word or a term or a phrase. You have to really frame it so it makes sense to folks and it's real for them. And the third reason, and probably the most important, is to help Republican candidates frame issues based on what voters are saying, not just what they're hearing from the talking heads or from seeing the media, but rather really hearing voters out there and how voters are describing those issues. So as we begin, we want to make sure that everybody on this focus group, a couple of things. One, if you can make sure that you have no background noise at all, and try to have that as limited as possible. And the second thing is, these are gut level reactions. What we want to know is what you think immediately to these ideas. And so because we have lots of folks on the line here to talk about these things, we want to make sure your comments are quick and fast. And so we're going to start off with the topic of the border. And what we want to first know is, when we mention the border and border security, what comes to your mind immediately from your own personal perspective? And we'll start with Sarah.
Well, immediately, without thinking too much, the situation in Texas with Haitian refugees pouring over our border.
Okay. Iris, your thoughts when we mentioned the border?
My thoughts when we mention the border is the security of our nation, protecting us from terrorists, protecting us from people that mean us harm.
Okay.
And we don't know who's crossing into this country. We have to vet the Afghan vets, but everybody else has just walked right in, and we have no idea who they are or what they are or their intentions.
All right, Sharon, what comes to mind when we mention border security, the border, for you?
I live in Green Valley, Arizona, and my concern is the illegals crossing Nogales and other areas closer to where I live, and how they come across. And I worry about it because we've actually had illegals running through our streets with guns, and they were rounded up by Border Patrol, and the helicopters were in the neighborhood, and it's quite unnerving to see that happen. I also worry about where they're going. They say that they're going to move there won't be an overflow and there won't be a lot. So where are they going? And they're not leaving them here. They're using our tax money to take them elsewhere, to disperse them. But how are they vetting these people? How are they sick? We don't know. That's my concern. We don't know.
Okay.
They're not.
Fred, your thoughts on the border?
Well, I'll just sum it up in about 4 words: cartels, COVID, sovereignty. And I agree with Sharon. I was talking with my son in South Carolina, talking about the border issue, and I told him, I said, they're coming to your town, just like
Right.
Sharon was saying. I told him, They come through here, they make a mess here, but they don't stay here. I said, they're coming to your neighborhood. So, and then the last point is terrorists. Those are my, main concerns when it comes to talking about the border.
Okay.
And if
Jane,
you'll
what-
notice,
I'm
if
sorry,
you'll
go ahead.
notice, those pretty much center around the federal government.
Okay. Jane, your thoughts when we talk about the border?
Well, I am thinking, why in the world can't we in Arizona finish this border wall? There are not that many gaps in it. Why can't we finish it?
Okay. Angie?
Les?
Yeah, can I say something too?
Oh, sure. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, one of the issues that they talked about is state sovereignty was supposed to be protected by the federal government. And when the federal government fails to protect our property rights, our voting rights, which are the intent of this influx of people is to dilute our voting so that we no longer have any say in what's going on in the country. And this is a deliberate thing done by the Biden administration to invite and allow these people to come in against our laws. All of it's illegal, but it's being done on purpose.
Right.
And so Abbott in Texas and Ducey should call in the National Guard and stop them at the border. Instead, they're being bussed throughout the whole nation. They're being received with welcome arms, and almost none of them are being turned back, according to what I hear. That's very alarming. The deliberate, from my impression, the deliberate intent is to overthrow our economy, our voting rights, our whole governmental structure, states' rights, all of that, and just ruin America. At the same time, we can say we love people from Mexico, Haiti, wherever in the world. That doesn't mean that they have free pass into our country. The stories about these Haitians has been that they have been very violent in Mexico, and on a bus that they broke out and rioted. They didn't get what they wanted, so they're willing to be violent about it. Wow, nice people, huh? Anyway,
Yeah.
enough.
Okay. You're going into a lot of deep stuff here, and which are really great, but we want to focus it specifically right now in terms of our initial reactions, because that's, when you think about these topics, that's really what comes to mind. What is it you first think about? So Angie, when we think about border security, what comes to mind?
Every state in the union is a border state.
Yeah. Mhm.
Human trafficking.
Okay. Mary Ann, your thoughts?
Mary Ann Falconer?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with that previous gentleman. I think of George Soros's open borders policy being enacted. And there's a term, and I just can't think of it. It's where they're trying to replace the current demographics, the current people here with these illegals, obviously to change, the voting and so on. And I also feel, looking at what's going on with these Haitians, do these open borders really care about these people when you look at the conditions that they're in? I moved here in 2005. We had a border issue then. It has gotten worse, and I'm sick of it. And I'm also sick of hearing on the news, which I watch probably too much. They keep talking about it, but then what is to be done about it? Nobody talks about that.
Right.
Amen.
Okay, obviously, that's a lot of information there in just a few moments. Let me see, raise your hand if you think anything is working on the border right now. Who thinks anything is working right now? Raise your hand.
Well, yeah, if you're an open borders person, it's working.
Okay. Okay, is that a yes or a no then, Marianne? Is that a no, that things are working? I'm
It's
not,
working. It's working for the open borders people. Put it
okay,
that way,
all right,
Not,
not for us.
okay. Okay, so I didn't really see any hands then in terms of for you individually that you think things are working at this point. Compare that then to when President Trump was in office. Were things working there? And just give me like 10 seconds worth. What it comes to mind when you when you think of President Trump and his action in terms of the border? Just a 10-second response. Let's go start with Sarah again. Oh, I'm sorry, Angie, you want to say something?
Remain in Mexico.
Okay, remain in Mexico. Sarah,
Absolutely.
we built walls. He built
Okay.
walls.
Iris,
Both of the above,
okay, Sharon,
walls and remain.
The economy was good, booming. Jobs are, people were working and happy.
okay, Jane,
Security.
okay. Other thoughts? Okay. Marianne,
The mafia of the Mexican cartels and gangs were put out of business. The
No.
drugs were shut down coming across the border. I'm not saying 100%, but it's a flip flop of that now. They've been empowered and individuals, the peons in the gangs are making $1 million
okay,
in almost no time. Yeah.
okay. Marianne, your thoughts in terms of when you think of President Trump and the border?
Trump really tried to put America first despite an incredible amount of opposition. It's very difficult for him.
Okay, okay. I think we've lost Fred there for a minute. Okay, so obviously there's a major gap in terms of your thinking as to what's currently happening at this point, and what was going on when the president, Trump, was there. So thinking about right now, if you could put your finger on one thing, what would it be to improve the situation? If you could, wave your magic wand, what would it be? Angie?
Enforce the law.
Okay.
Good point.
Is there something specific about the law though that you're thinking when you come up with that?
Legal immigration.
Nice.
Okay. Iris, your thought in terms of what we could do right now to improve the situation?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, these people are breaking and entering, and if you break into your house, someone breaks into your house, you have a right to stop them. And we have got to stop these people because they're not coming here for opportunity. They're coming here for welfare, medical benefits, and
Benefits.
everything they can take. And I don't know how to stop them at this point because I think the cat's out of the bag
Okay.
and we have to get it back in.
Mhm.
And I don't know how.
Sarah, your thoughts?
Oh, just close the border. Close the border. Stop this now.
What does that mean? Other than
That means-
the obvious, what is, in your
Okay.
mind, what does it mean?
It means probably send troops to the borders and not let anybody that's illegal in, period. Don't let anyone in, except legal citizens. I heard someone say something about a legal citizen couldn't get back in because they hadn't had their vaccine or didn't have their vaccine passport. Really? I think that was in San Diego.
All right. Sharon, your thoughts?
Be presidential, drive draw the line, don't step back from the line. When what you promise and what you say you're going to do it. And negotiate like you're in business, like you understand how you should run this country.
You've got the wrong person, Sharon.
I know,
Not
I know.
possible.
Wait, he
Not
said I could wave a
possible.
magic wand. I'm using my
No.
magic wand, Iris.
Ah,
Would be nice.
Jane?
Get rid of Biden and put back Trump.
Okay, what does that mean? Okay, what do you mean by that?
Okay, reveal voter fraud, all this voter fraud, and
Good.
admit that Trump won the election.
Okay, and in your mind, why is that not happening then? Why
Well,
is,
I hope it's gonna start on Friday. That's what we're praying for. For Arizona to reveal all the voter fraud that's gone on.
okay. Mary Ann?
I'd like to know, I guess according to the Constitution, what is the executive branch responsibility to protecting our country, bringing security? And if it's not happening, can Biden be impeached, sued, whatever,
Jailed.
or jailed?
Okay,
Who's going to impeach him? The
That's
Democrats?
the problem.
Yeah, good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Republicans? I don't know.
They can't, they don't have a majority.
And I don't
They're in the minority party.
And I don't understand, because technically two of those Democrats are independents, and I don't understand why they're saying the Democrats have a majority when two of them are independent. But
But
that's
they vote
another,
with Democrats.
well,
so if we could, as we close down this conversation, and obviously lots and lots of information, what's your feelings at this point? We've talked a lot about ideas and thoughts, with your head. In terms of your heart right now, when you think in terms of the border and what's going on, what's your state in terms of your feelings at this point, as far as what's going on? Angie?
Well, I just think it's human misery. Human misery in all forms. For the children, for the parents, for the people who believe in America and come here, thinking they're going to get a pretty good deal. And they bought a lie and they paid for it.
Yeah, Sharon, what's your thinking at this point? How do you
Well,
feel?
I'm a Christian and believes in faith, family, and freedom, and it's frustrating because I would like to do something positive every day, and sometimes I stumble with that. It's difficult because I want to be a positive influence, and I find myself wallowing in the negative at times. So the point is to keep trying, just one step at a time.
Very good.
Iris?
We
Your
just
state-
have to I think we need to keep challenging the media to try to get them to tell the truth. I don't know how, but I'm thinking about it. We have to keep nagging at our leaders. I mean, something happened today that set me off completely, which is not unusual lately. Ask Michael, he'll tell you. But I mean, you try to get Kelly's office on the phone and they took all the phones off the hook. So you can't get through there. But we just have to, I don't know. It's almost to the point now where you want to throw your hands up, but you can't. You have got to keep it up. I mean, I told everybody in New York, whether they asked or not, how terrible it was at the border with the conditions, what's happening. Nobody cares, unfortunately, in this country. Republican people, oh, I love Trump, I voted for Trump, but they don't want to do anything. It's very hard to get people to commit to take action.
Action, yeah.
And action is what we need.
Mary Ann, your feelings at this point regarding the border and what's taking place?
My gut reaction, I do not feel comfortable living about 42 miles from the border. I really would like to leave. I am very angry and depressed because I think there are forces that are really trying to bring this country down. And I love my country. Yeah, I'm really depressed about it.
Jane?
She handed the phone to me.
Okay, great.
This is Leslie. What there are a whole bunch of reactions. One is anger, just almost rage that I have to kind of pray down and focus. There's a sadness, just a weight of a fear for the future. Marianne expressed some of the things that the emotions that go through. And then there's also a faith that God's allowing this for a purpose. We need to pray and be sincere in how we live and what we communicate, and to try to be positive. That
All right.
God let us be here. He has a purpose. He loves those people that are flooding our borders, and he knows that there's evil going on in our government that needs to be changed. So there's some hope. Anyway, do you want to
Yes,
add
there
anything,
is.
Jane?
Well, God is really the only answer I can see. I mean, he hears our prayers. We are his children, and we want to serve him. And our country means a lot to us, and he was the focus of our country when we were founded. So we need to get our focus back on God and his ability to show us the way and guide us each and every day.
Okay. I want to thank all of you for this evening. This is our first run. We're going to look at it and expand on it. But I think once you listen to this, and we'll have it available for you, one of the things I think you'll find very, very, I think surprising is how much you know. We spend so much time listening to the experts on all the different talk shows and all of the different newscasts, and you hear all these experts. And I guarantee you that the information that I've heard from all of you, it more than equals. But the most important thing is that from our candidates' perspective, the people running for office, they need to start listening and a little less talking. They need to understand that the issues that are important to Republicans are not just superficial. They're not designed around the idea that we kind of feel this way, or maybe it's important. The gut level feelings that Republicans have right now are pretty powerful. So I want to thank you for that. We'll have it up on the RPN, and your feedback in terms of comments after you get a chance looking at it would be sincerely appreciated. So I want to thank all of you for your thoughts and your ideas, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Yale.
Yale,
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
Great
Bye.
job.
Yale, can
Thanks.
I